If you're here, this means you have come to realize that trauma is real in your life and it's messing things up for you. Whether it's holding you back from achieving what you need to achieve or actively creating problems, conflict, and chaos in your life, if you have come this far, you have realized that something needs to be done about this. This is definitely the right move. Investing in yourself is always a good move. You cannot be there for others unless you strengthen yourself first. In case you're wondering. So, I won't waste your time with introductions. You can read about us in our website. Let's focus our attention on you and on what needs to be done, one step at a time. Let's cut to the chase. Trauma does three things to a person. It keeps you from getting anything done. Think of an injured athlete. As an athlete, you can be very well trained. You can have a lot of experience. Your muscles can be well toned, and your drive to succeed could be huge. But will you be able to run, let alone win the race, if your leg is broken or even badly cut? Will you be able to accomplish what you objectively know you're able to accomplish because you know your training, drive, and abilities? If you have an injury, no. Just like physical trauma zaps your physical potential, in the same way, psychological trauma zaps your life's potential. And you cannot fix things here simply by trying, simply by resolving to do or not to do something, simply by staying motivated, and so on. You need to heal the trauma before you can go further. So, if you were wondering why you're never able to keep your resolutions, why your efforts to make a commitment to change fail, and why you never seem to be able to do what you want to do, even though you know darn well that you can, now you know the answer. The second thing that trauma does is attract unfavorable circumstances into your life. No way, right? How can this be? Think of an injured bird. Trauma literally projects vulnerability. Oftentimes, this projection is subconscious. We cannot always describe all the components that go into this perception, but we all have seen and experienced it. We all can sense a strong person with whom it is best to not argue, and a weak person who we know we could easily sway our way or even subdue psychologically if we wanted to. So, trauma projects vulnerability, and vulnerability attracts predators. We can see this in the physical world of nature, where animals are driven by instincts only. But we, as humans, are driven by the same instincts in our subconsciousness. The same principles apply in the human world. We often do not see these dynamics among the noise of our intellectual explanations, the complexity of our interactions, or even behind our personal pride. But these dynamics are there. It's a fact of natural science. The laws of the physical world, the animal world, and the human world follow the same pattern. So, yes, bluntly put, your trauma literally attracts bad people, and thus bad circumstances into your life. It does not only hold you back by affecting your own potential, it actively creates problems in your life, problems that are outside of your immediate control. You are that endured bird that every predator is after. The third thing that trauma does is cause you pain. Duh, you may say. What was your first clue, right? But what does this mean? What happens when the dentist starts examining the tooth that hurts? What happens when a doctor starts taking the bandage off and starts trying to clean an old wound that hurts? You instinctively want to push the doctor away. You jerk your hand back. You want to stop this. You may even feel angry at the doctors and want to punch them at that moment. The same thing will happen when you start taking the bandage off and trying to clean up your emotional wounds. You may get angry at us. You will want to quit. You will get defensive and will try to push our advice away. Let's take a small example here. If I were to say, don't dwell in the past, do you feel a bit of resentment already? What makes you think I dwell in the past? You may say. Or, my past is a very important part of who I am and of where I am at today. You're wrong for saying I should not pay attention to it. Well, first of all, there's a difference between paying attention to something and being submerged in it without ever coming up for air. But we'll be talking about this later. Do you see how even a small, simple example like this can evoke a lot of resistance? This is what I mean when I talk about the instinctive urge to push the doctor away. That's because it hurts. So, be prepared for the anger stage of healing and do not let it derail you. Now that you know the three things that trauma does, what should be your next step? Stop the video, close your eyes, and think about this for a few minutes. Now that you know and realize what trauma is doing to you, what should be your next move? Think and see what answer comes to you before watching the next video where we will discuss this.